Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from the Frontier. Thanks for stopping by. Let's start with some macro thoughts. Bitcoin surged after the CME announced it was set to launch futures contracts. And given the volatility we see in the cash price, I dread to think what we're going to see in the futures market. It broke through key trendline resistance. Have a look at this from Jay Mahoney at IG. Home thoughts, Andy Scott's steel equine sculpture, the Kelpies, sets the night aglow at the Forth and Clyde Canal in Falkirk, Scotland. That's from the Saatchi Gallery. I went back to Rumi, you were born with wings, why prefer to crawl through life? Where there is ruin, there is hope for a treasure. And then final home thought is the circle of life, an elephant family near Amboseli, Kenya, Tanzania. This photograph was taken by David Yarrow. Political reflections, Catalonia's ousted leader says he is not in Brussels to seek asylum. For now, I think Rajoy has snuffed out this Catalonian dash for independence. On the 7th of August, I wrote about how the special prosecutor Robert Mueller III's hot breath could be felt on President Trump's collar. I said then Washington metasized into a new epicenter of global uncertainty. And as the special prosecutor Robert Mueller III's hot breath could be felt on President Trump's collar, I said any financial expert will tell you that President Trump's financial affairs are a smoking gun. Deutsche Bank's loans were surely mirror transactions where Deutsche Bank was a commission agent interposed between Trump and the real lender. All those sales where Trump proclaimed himself a genius because they were so off-market, we would all be incredulous, were essentially just that, incredible. I said there is a prima facie case, and it's in plain sight. President Trump knows it, and that's why he's been demanding Al Pacino-like demands of loyalty from the likes of the now dispensed with FBI Director James Comey. In another piece in December last year, where I was talking about Russian interference, and I pulled in the quote from Don DeLillo, we have a deviate tomahawk. And now I'm seeing that Nigel Farage is a person of interest in the FBI investigation into Trump and Russia. If you triangulate Russia, WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, and Trump associates, the person who comes up most is Nigel Farage. Trump calls George Papadopoulos a low-level volunteer and a proven liar. Earlier, he'd said he was an excellent guy. Tanzanian opposition leader arrested for inflammatory speech, arrested the leader of the Opposition Alliance for Change and Transparency after he gave a speech about the current state of the country's economy. The authorities detained Zito Kabwe on Tuesday and is currently being questioned about the speech he made on October the 29th in Dar es Salaam. Kabwe's speech covered issues including the quality of life of Tanzanians, the state of the economy, and how to defeat the ruling party. How the Kurds lost Iraq, they had tanks and planes, and we had no chance. Maybe we would have lasted a day if we had fought, but the only result would have been bloodshed. The long-predicted confrontation never took place, but the loss of Kirkuk is more than a crippling blow to the Kurdish hopes of independence. With a divided leadership, no allies abroad, and without a military option, the Kurds are losing the semi-independent status they had built up since Saddam Hussein was defeated in the Gulf War in 1991. and Iraqi government forces withdrew from the 3 Kurdish provinces. That's been snuffed out as well. How could France, of all places, end up short of butter? This is because France has a fixed price to sell butter. Butter manufacturers are selling it abroad at better prices. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo called it a lone wolf attack and said there was no evidence to suggest it was part of a wider plot. And this goes back to something I wrote in April 2013 about the brothers Tsarnaev and the long tail. And I said then, there are more than 7 billion of us now in this 21st century of ours. And the long tail in a population of 7 billion is not an insignificant absolute number. In statistics, a long tail of some distributions of numbers is the portion of the distribution having a large number of occurrences far from the head or the central part of the distribution. Put it in a different way, there are surely many brothers Tsarnaev in this new 21st century of ours. And whilst I appreciate Osama bin Laden is being nibbled by the fishes somewhere in the ocean, he basically inspired the likes of brothers Tsarnaev, i.e. those disaffected with the 21st century. In truth, that disaffection might have any number of reasons. And I am reminded of my French O-level, where I studied Albert Camus' L'Étranger, and Camus said, "The Byronic hero capable of love or capable only of an impossible love suffers endlessly. He is solitary, languid, his condition exhausts him. If he wants to feel alive, it must be in the terrible exaltation of a brief and destructive action." Take a look at this photograph from the Rolling Stone magazine, which caused a lot of controversy, of Dzohkhar Tsarnaev. Let's move on to international markets. World stocks are up for 12 months in a row, the longest winning streak on record, says Jamie Reuters. US jobs optimism, look at this from Bloomberg. US consumer confidence, the highest level since the year 2000. And as J.S. Blockland says, macro data is skyrocketing all over the world. Currency markets, the euro is at 116.25, dollar index 94.68, Japanese yen, which visited levels with a 112 handle, is now at 113.93. The Swiss franc 0.9986, the pound, where an interest rate hike is expected, 132.70. The Australian dollar, last trading at 0.7657, India rupee 64.655, South Korean won 11.1579, the Rial 327.10, the Egyptian pound 17.6495, and the Rand is at 14.1360. Dollar index, let me put up a 3-month chart. We've seen a significant recovery, but we've got Robert Mueller risk now out there. The Eurozone enjoys a Goldilocks period. Economy expands at 0.6% quarter on quarter in the third quarter, faster than expected, and while inflation grew slower, 1.4% year on year. Euro-dollar chart here, we're now at 116.26. I still think we're going to 114.50, but I'm not sure if we're going to get a little lift again before we go down. WPP is another advertising company whose stock basically tracked the market for over 20 years, up until last year, says the stalwart. They've cut their sales forecast again as the advertising industry continues to struggle. Look at this, market caps, a race to $1 trillion, that's from J. Blockland as well. Gold, last trading at 1270. This has lost some oxygen of late. Crude oil, which has gained liftoff. This is WTI 54.75 last. Everyone is getting bullish about industrial metals entering a new bull market. This is in line with a sharp drawdown in inventories and continued strong demand out of China. Coffee drinkers beware of coffee short squeeze as net shorts reach a record. Prices for Arabica coffee have fallen 8.1% year to date. Moving on to Africa, Africa's rising debt means the debt service ratio is rising too. In Nigeria, the IMF estimates 62% of government revenues are spent on debt in 2017. That's not a sustainable situation. DR Congo continues to see demos, and a dead day has been called for the entire country as people demand Kabila step down by the 31st of December. This photograph is from Goma and from Samira Salwani. The photos from Lucha. 6 in the evening, drama in the skies, no filter. This is a photograph from Johannesburg by Backlologic. South Africa's unemployment rate is unchanged at 27.7%. The South African all share is at an all-time high and up 16.44% so far this year. Dollar versus rand, as I said, 14.14. I think we're headed to 14.40. The Egyptian pound is at 17.6495. Increasingly better macroeconomic data coming out of Egypt. Nigerian all share up 36.49% so far this year. Ghana Stock Exchange up 39.81% so far this year. I like this photograph of Harare that I found. Bharti Airtel year-on-year India revenues were down 13%. Africa revenues were up 2.8%. Subscribers at 81.9 million in 15 countries. The Chinese miracle elixir that threatens donkeys around the world has been an enormous squeeze on donkey prices. It was a bout of period pain that led to Liu Yanan's first taste of donkey gelatine. The 13-year-old was visiting family in Beijing when her cramps started for the first time. Her aunt took out an ornate box filled with smooth chocolate brown slabs, broke off a small piece and stirred it into a pot of sweetened rice porridge. The medicine was a jiao, a Chinese medicine made from donkey skins and used for over 2,500 years. Yanan hesitated before eating the mixture, but she trusted her aunt and wanted relief from the pain. I felt comfortable afterwards. My body was warm, she says. I took it for a month and the trouble went away. That was back in 2004, and since then China's jiao industry has turned into a global mega business. What was once a humble blood tonic for conditions like anemia, a claim supported by no clinical evidence, has been rebranded as a wellness product for China's ascendant middle class, and now features in face creams, sweets, and liqueurs, as well as a wide variety of medicinal preparations. There are claims it will help with anemia and acne, boost your energy, improve your sleep, nourish your yin, prevent cancer, make you look better, and even improve your libido. It is billed in short as a miracle elixir. Kenya, my weekend piece was all about finding the path back to political equilibrium. Look at this, Kenya's electoral map. Counties in blue had turnout of less than 50%. Those in yellow had turnout of greater than 50%. But remember, in Kenya, it's like a belt in the center. That's where the population is concentrated. Raila Odinga said on Tuesday he would use pickets and petitions to protest last week's presidential poll, and he would convene a People's Assembly. Unfortunately, Kenyan journalists were attacked while waiting for the opposition leader's speech. Journalists walked out en masse after veteran political journalist Francis Ejuri and 25-year-old television journalist Jane Gatwiri were assaulted while waiting for Odinga to speak. We heard in Swahili, "Citizen TV must leave," she said. When I was trying to record, I got a very hot slap on my face, my right cheek. Someone said I should move, pushed me. My camera was about to be broken. Some of Odinga's supporters have accused citizens of bias towards Kenyatta after the channel ran a tally of last week's vote. Odinga lost his fourth election and was expected to give his first reaction to Kenyatta's Monday night victory, but delayed a speech planned for Tuesday morning by several hours, in part because all journalists disappeared. Odinga boycotted the poll, saying it would not be fair. His spokesman later issued an apology for the attack on the journalists, which happened in the Wiper Party headquarters, a party in his coalition. The coalition registers the unreserved apology to reporters who fell victim to this unfortunate incident. The youth acted on their own and condemned their actions in the strongest possible terms. I think essentially that, like the stock market, which was very buoyant yesterday, we can now discount the political noise. Kenya's biggest retailer to enter administration and revival plan. They're going to court on November the 8th for a hearing on the application, which proposes the business turnaround professional Peter Kahi of PKF Consulting be appointed as the administrator, according to a statement emailed Monday. Nakumatt is optimistic that the order will be granted, as it will enable the company to continue as a going concern. The order will enable Nakumatt to achieve a better outcome for its creditors as a whole, and would likely be the case if the company were liquidated, they said. Nakumatt had 63 stores in 4 East African nations at the end of 2016. ShopRite of South Africa is already in talks about opening its first stores in Kenya by filling space left empty by the Nakumatt store closures. Carrefour of France, run by franchise holder Al Futtaim, has also taken up 1 store in Nairobi. Botswana's choppy is to treble shops in Kenya next 3 years, says the CEO. Kenya's annual inflation fell sharply to 5.72%. That's a good outcome. The Nairobi All Share is up 21.49% year-to-date, had a good session yesterday, as did the NSE 20, which is up 17.06%. Very esoteric company worth about $1 million, Olympic Capital, reported its 6-month earnings per share fell 32.02%. If you're interested in that, all that information is on Rich Wrap-Ups. Once again, thank you for stopping by.